Hey guys, Ty Lord here with a movie and video game pickups video. Just to let you know, I think I'm not going to be doing these pickups quite as much from now on. I think I'm at the point where my collection is pretty much where I want it to be. I think I pretty much have a list of a few movies I want, and of course new ones always pop up. Same with video games. But as for now, like I'm pretty content with my collection. It only took like 40 years, but I'm getting low on space too. I think I pretty much have the bulk of everything I need. So I might not be doing as many pickup videos. Who's to say though, like I might do one from time to time. Um, of course, I always get new interests or whatever, so I might go find. It's been nice having Rasputin's here in town. I can forget dollar DVDs. The library is huge. The selection is huge. And I have this nice video game retro store in my town, Utopia Games, with great deals, and they give me all kinds of credit for games that I take in. I might continue still doing that when I find games for cheap somewhere. Maybe Rasputin's even take them over and get credit at Utopia Games and get games I want. But right now I have so many games I want to play. Like I don't really want to add any more. Well, pretty much like my wish list is pretty much complete. Like as far back as the NES, I pretty much have every NES game I ever had as a kid and ever really wanted. And Super Nintendo pretty much, with Genesis, not that many, but all the ones I like I have through all the systems. There are getting to be very few movies that I don't have that I need. I don't need a 4K Blu-ray of every single movie I like. Though they're nice though. There's always space for them in my collection, but anyway, we'll start off with the video games I acquired. Before we talk about the games I picked up, I want to talk about the games I've been playing. Castlevania, aka Castlevania 64, the vanilla version. Picked that up a few weeks ago. I started playing it, not expecting much out of it. I remember I rented it as a kid, and I kind of got stuck at the beginning, and I was not interested. But I did that same thing with Ocarina of Time when I was a kid. I rented that, and I couldn't find the sword, and I just stuck in the village, and so I'm done with this game. Later on, I went back and played through the whole thing and realized it's the best game ever made. So could this be the second best game ever made? Maybe not, but from what I played, I played maybe 2 or 3 hours. It's actually pretty good. Actually, the controls are pretty responsive. You can always recenter the camera behind him. There's a little bit of platforming, but I didn't really have much trouble with the platforming. I usually do in 3D platformers. Some parts, it's kind of different, weird pacing in this game. Like it starts off fighting a lot of skeletons. You're outside, you fight a giant skeleton. There's skeletons on motorcycles, kind of cool stuff. Pretty much just platforming, trying to find a key to open this door to get through. I got to this one area called like the villa or the mansion or something, and it kind of plays more like Resident Evil in that spot. Like you're in a big mansion and doors are locked, and you're going around backtracking in this big mansion. I thought it was pretty cool. Then I went out to this hedge maze. There's a giant Frankenstein monster with a chainsaw hand and some dogs chasing around in this hedge maze. It's pretty scary. And now I'm like in the outer castle, or the castle entrance, and I'm kind of stuck right there right now. So I'm kind of enjoying this game. I'm being brainwashed by Omega Ace Gaming, who likes this game. Maybe he's a bad influence on me, but yeah, as far as as from what I played so far, I like it. I'm kind of stuck right now, but I don't think it'll be that much of a chore to get through the spot. I guess the big choke point in this game for people was that villa, and I passed that part. So I'm hoping it's smooth sailing the rest of the way. But I kind of put this one down for a while to play, which is probably the best game ever made. I hate to say that, but Street Fighter 6. Oh man, I finally figured out how to play online. You have to go to the battle hub. Joel Valley from Media Glitch was telling me how to do it, and I figured that you just go to that battle hub, you walk around with your avatar and sit down at arcade and you fight people. I don't know if those are the highest ranked people there. I went there and I felt like a bully. I was like smashing people. I was E Honda. So maybe they're new players or something, but I kind of wish I could find ranked matches so I could play people better than me. But I kind of felt like a bully going around in that hub, or maybe just at that point there weren't like super competitive people. I'm not super competitive, but I guess I played 5 a lot with my buddies at work. But anyway. I was gonna say what makes this so good is that I think I mentioned it in my last video that World Tour mode. It's like the most chill thing I've ever played. Like it's like everything I wanted from a RPG. It's pretty much an open world RPG. Not random encounters, although there are some of that, like gangs can attack you on the street, but most of the time you can just go up and level grind at your convenience. Like every single person on the street has a level and a fighting skill, and you can go challenge them on the street. And then it goes to a fighting game view. You fight people, you level up. There's certain little tasks within each person, like knock them down 3 times, or hit with a punch 3 times, or use a parry 3 times, and that gives you extra bonus items. So man, it can get addicting. And then there's a story on top of that. There's side missions. There's part-time jobs. It's pretty much like all of my favorite games mixed into one. As much as I like RPGs, like turn-based random encounter stuff, like this is way better. Like you don't have to worry about random encounters, but you can go up and fight anyone whenever you want to level grind. And then not only you're not doing some BS turn-based deal, like you're actually playing a Street Fighter match for every time you run into someone or fight someone. So it's like take away the turn battle mechanic and add a fighting game. Oh man, and it's set in the Street Fighter universe, which and I've never seen a Street Fighter universe so rich with as in this game. Like I'm not really deep into Street Fighter lore. It's one of my favorite games ever made, but I know the characters and I know what they're all about, and I recognize all the characters. So man, this is some nostalgia right here. A lot of characters from like Street Fighter 1 and Final Fight. The Final Fight games are popping up here. It's set in Metro City. And spoiler alert, there's a Mike Hagar memorial sporting arena in here. So is Mike Hagar dead? I guess you can't really have a fighting arena without, or you can't have a memorial without, if the guy's not dead. So maybe Mike Hagar's dead in this. So he never made it to a Street Fighter game. Probably the most popular Street Fighter character who's never been in a Street Fighter game, Mayor Mike Hagar. I guess he would probably be too much like Zangief if they put him in the game, but that was kind of brought a tear to my eye, like when Optimus Prime died, like Mike Hagar memorial, so he must be deceased. Sorry to spoil that, but you see all kinds, like I ran into Damned or Thrasher. He's called Thrasher Damned in this, and I was like geeking out. Oh, like he's like a character you meet and he has missions for you. I know Carlos from Final Fight 2, I ran into him and he has some missions for me. Man, and then you can go around to the different stages of different characters in the world. They're not as in depth as Metro City, but it's kind of like the stage. Just like if you go to another country, you can kind of wander around the fighting stage of like Blanca or DJ or Cammy or whoever it is. Okay, I'm talking too much about this, man. I love this game. Such a chill RPG. That's that World Tour mode. Oh man, okay, so now on to the games I got. Okay, I traded in some more trash at Utopia Games that I wasn't expecting much. I told the gal that worked there, she's like a cute little nerd gal with like tattoos. She has her little daughter there helping her out. Like she goes and goes and cuts the games off the tabs that people want. But she gave me like $32 for some games I brought in. And I went in and bought some games I've been wanting. This one completes my Super Nintendo, my 16-bit WWF collection. I had this as a kid. It was like the first game I wanted to get on Super Nintendo, and it was trash, but I forced myself to like it. What's cool about this is listening to the 16-bit renditions of the wrestlers' music, especially like the Legion of Dooms and Sid Justice music, Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Jake the Snake, $1 Million Man, Natural Disasters. Anyway, I think that completes my 16-bit WWF collection. I think I have all of them on Super Nintendo and Genesis. Again, the Street Fighter mood. So I use my credit to get this, a complete copy of Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition, which is great. So I have a complete copy of this. I have a loose copy now if anyone needs that. But probably one of my favorite Genesis games. It was such a treat to have these as a kid. I had the Super Nintendo ones. Like playing them at the arcade, like that's probably most of the people I knew and myself. That's the game everyone bought the Super Nintendo. We're waiting for Street Fighter 2. And then it came out. I remember at first when I played it, it looked kind of crappy compared to the arcade. Like it didn't look as good, but after you play it for like 5 minutes, you don't realize and it looks the same, and then you can't really tell the difference. I used to remember that my first initial thought of playing the 16-bit ones. But man, they play beautifully. Both the Genesis and Super Nintendo ones play perfectly. And then I got a copy of this. I was going to give to my buddy Omega Ace Gaming, who's into the Bond games, trying to collect them all like I do. I have all the Bond games on every console, and I already had this one. But I think he's going to start streaming Bloodstone next week. But this is the one he didn't have. So I bought this for him. I couldn't get a hold of him. Apparently his wife bought him. Mrs. Omega bought him this, and I didn't know it. So I have this copy now. I don't really want to take it back. I might just find a fellow Bond fan to give this to. 007 Legends. Didn't get the warmest reception, but I enjoyed this game just for all the Bond references. It's that Activision, I forgot what company within Activision did it, one of the Call of Duty people, but pretty much plays like a Call of Duty, and then it goes to these like first-person boxing matches, which is kind of silly, but I kind of like boxing with the Bond characters. A lot of the actors from the movie reprise their roles. Some of the actors are completely changed. Like Pierce Brosnan's in every movie now. It has Goldfinger, Moonraker, which is my favorite one. Even Michael Lonsdale comes back and plays Drax, and it's his likeness and everything. And Richard Kill's likeness, Jaws, is in there. License to Kill is pretty awesome too. And on Her Majesty's cool. There's a big raid on Piz Gloria. And then surprisingly, Die Another Day was really cool. Like the Ice Palace. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this game. So I got an extra copy of that now. But anyway, so on to the movies. That's it for the games. Okay, so I've been a big fan of Alain Delabie. He does these borrowed time movies. I ordered all of them. I'm actually friends with him on Instagram. I found out about him on Fat Samurai's channel when they had the legendary director David Worth on there, and Alain Delabie, who I wasn't really familiar with. I know he's been in a couple martial art movies, but and he's been doing martial arts for years. Like he's probably as good as Van Damme or any of those guys. Borrowed Time. They were plugging the Alain Delabie's new movie Borrowed Time, which you can watch these on Tubi if you want. I ordered them to support this director. I like indie stuff like this. It's kind of a throwback to good old 90s action movies. Yeah, this is written, directed by Alain Delabie, who I guess does it on a shoestring budget, like really low budget. I think he has all of his equipment like in a briefcase or something, but really high quality looking, well acted movies. He gets a lot of like faces you'll recognize from old 90s action martial art movies to be in his movies. Takes place a lot in France, sometimes in LA. kind of intricate plot. Like you have to pretty much watch. There's a lot of dialogue in these, but when the martial arts hits, it's pretty darn good. Like Michelle Kesey's in this one, the first one, and I think the other Kesey's in here too. Oh, this guy Silvo Simak is it? Oh, Abdel Kesey, the guy that plays in Lionheart and The Quest. So you'll recognize a lot of 90s like martial art guys here, but the acting is really good in these. Really, like you wouldn't expect this to be low budget by looking at it. Like the filmography and everything's really good. Borrowed Time 2, and that one I think Eric Roberts came along in that one, and I think even Alon has like training montages with Bob Wall, the legendary Bob Wall, who just passed away. You remember him from the Bruce Lee movies, O'Hara, the guy with the scar. Yeah, the story continues in this one, and I just got Borrowed Time 3, Falling Apart, and this is the one where he collaborated with David Worth, the legendary director. He's directed a lot of my favorites, like for many different genres, like Shark Attack 2 and 3. He did Warriors of the Lost World. He did actually he directed Kickboxer, and he was did a lot of the filmography of like Bloodsport, all kinds of big movies. Some underrated ones I like: Honored, he did with Roddy Piper. American Tigers with Sam Jones, I like that one. I'm probably missing some big ones. Anyway, okay, so anyway, getting back to the movie, this one, Costas Mandylor, Louis Mandylor in it. It's got good old Patrick Kilpatrick, who plays a really creepy part. Like he always brings his A game. Patrick Kilpatrick in his older age kind of reminds me of Jesse Ventura, the way he talks. But he's in this, a pretty cool performance from him. This one's co-directed by Ellen Dalby, so it's even like more quality for such a low budget movie. Yeah, just a lot of drama, a lot of good acting. So you pretty much have to pay attention. If you watch this on Tubi, a couple of scenes are in French and there's no subtitle, so you don't know what's going on. But that's fixed in the DVD. So I got those, so I'm happy to have these. I guess Alon's doing a new movie with Don the Dragon Wilson. He's also David Worth's involved, so I'm really hyped for that. And also a vampire movie called The Last Nosferatu. So a big fan of his. I recommend those. Check him out on Tubi. If you're into those old like 90s, like Don the Dragon Wilson type movies or Van Damme movies, that's good to see someone still making movies like that. Okay, so I got this for my wife. We collect the Godzilla movies, and I think she didn't have the original Godzilla King of Monsters. This is the Japanese version, I think. We might have Gojira like on Blu-ray, but I don't know if I know we have the American version with Perry Mason. We got that one. So we're a fan of the Godzillas in our household. So I got these were $1 a piece. I'm thinking they're the remastered ones with the added CGI and touched up stuff. Star Wars. These were $1 a piece. I already have a copy of these that has both the theatrical original version and the remastered ones. And I'm not sure what these are. Oh, these come with like bonus material. From what I remember, I was thinking this might have been the original, but I haven't tested them out yet. Like the artwork on there. I was thinking those might be the original, but I doubt it. It'll probably be the CGI butchery. I don't mind him doing that. George Lucas, he can do whatever he wants with his movies. I just don't like the way they're trying to erase those. Like you can't find them anywhere. The original, like they just more push the re-released versions. Anyway, I'm closing in on the end here. Okay, so I was just read Dune, or listened to it on audio at the gym I mentioned, and I rewatched the David Lynch movie. Kind of hyped to watch the new Dune movie at the theater. The I can't pronounce that guy's name, the Frenchman, the French director. 'Cause I like the first one. But anyway, I got these because I'd never seen them. Dune the miniseries, and then the sequel, Children of Dune, the miniseries, and this one covers the second two books. It's called The Messiah of Dune and The Children of Dune. This one, I had never seen it. I was always kind of like of an like against TV movies and series. I'm more of a movie guy. I'm probably totally wrong about this, but I think like all the creativity is like more in the movies, and seems like TV shows like this, like are cranking them out, and they have a big board of people trying to think, what can we get people addicted on or whatever, like all these stupid shows everyone's trying to get me to watch. So I was always against like TV shows. I might be wrong about that, but I never watched this. I don't know why. It's actually pretty good. It's a sci-fi original, but it looks pretty good. The special effects. I think it's pretty high quality. It's in 3 parts, and each part is about an hour and a half. So it's probably like 4.5 hours of a movie, which is good because it covers a lot of the stuff in the book that the David Lynch movie didn't. A lot of my favorite parts from the book are actually in this. And my phone's about to overheat. Look, I got the Children of Dune 2, which is really cool. Okay, I'll see you guys later. That was the end of my pickups anyway.